Living in the Past is a Turtle, Mysteries of Azeroth, and Everlook Broadcasting production. This is Living in the Past, your Everlook Broadcasting Company monthly show about all things Turtle, Mysteries of Azeroth. Today is Friday, April 11th, 2025, and I'm Dan, your host for the next hour. Karazhan 40 has launched, the South American server has launched. So much has happened just in the last week or so, and I have so much more to cover than just that. We have so much that's actually been going on the radio itself that I'm going to talk about. That's going to be in the third segment here, but we have had so much going on the radio in particular, and we got some really fun stuff in the works. Like, I know I say that, I've said that almost every episode since 2025 started. Like, I said it in the January episode, I said it in the February episode, I'm saying it in this episode. I didn't have time for a March episode because we were getting a whole new show out. But let me tell you, got some fun stuff coming up on the radio. I feel like a broken record saying that. But it's true, it really is. And again, huge credit to every single person who works with me on the radio, who has made 2025 such a stand-up year. We've really, stepped our quality up across the board. And it's so exciting to see that. But we have so much that has happened. Obviously, guilds are getting into Kara 40. We're seeing the grind happen. We're going to talk a lot more about Kara 40 coming up here in our second segment. And I'm going to talk a lot about the importance of actually participating in that grind. Because this is a unique situation for us here on Turtle, where we have never seen content we haven't known about for 20 years now. And now we have had to tackle something new, something challengingly different, with mechanics that don't always make a lot of sense. And that's kind of the fun part. That's kind of the exciting part. And of course, before I say anything else, I wish all the best of luck to everyone who is trying to get in there, clear those bosses, and get that gear. Some of the gear that I have seen, because I haven't spoiled myself by looking in the dev channels on any gear, some of the gear that I've seen coming out of Karazhan 40 is just absolutely gorgeous. And certainly I can't wait to see a priest in the full 3-5 gear. I can't wait to see a plague doctor running around. If any priest has gotten, let's say, like half the pieces, I would love to know. I would love to see it. With that being said, though, and you can take your first shot of the night now that I've said that, we had the South American servers launch. I have not made my character yet. I really want to, though. I might make time for that this weekend. But I'm either going to do a hunter or I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. I might reroll paladin or try druid. I'm not doing warrior. I'm not doing priest. But I really want to experience the fresh South American server launch. From what I can tell, at least, the ping is really good on it. Unfortunately, the launch has come with some hiccups, some issues. My launcher was broken for a long time, as many had launcher issues there. And it took a couple fresh reinstalls to finally fix the problems that I was having. But I do believe now the new server is working now for everyone? ? Hopefully. I know it's working for me, which is good. That's good at least. I have a question though, and this may be an Akalix thing. This might be a Torta thing. Someone on the Turtle Twitter put up a meme image, the screaming orc cowboy for "Take Me Home, Country Roads," and I'm just sitting here thinking, who mocks my radio like this? Who has decided that my radio is funny? We don't do humor here. We don't do funny here. What is going on? So that's fun. It's fun to see that stuff on the launcher now, though. I'm referring to one of the latest news posts on the launcher, and it's great to see a little more of that social activity going on there. I love to see it. So make sure, if you haven't updated your game already, make sure you're updating your game. Get the fresh launcher. Make sure you got all that stuff locked in. I do have my South American account logged in now on the launcher too, so I can switch to it as I would like, which I'm very excited for. Again, I'm going to try to roll my character here this weekend. We'll see. I really do want to, though. I want to experience the fresh South American server experience. Also, again, I am really curious about how good my ping is going to be. So I'm up in Massachusetts in the United States. I'm curious how good my ping is going to be down to the South American servers, I believe in Peru, versus connecting all the way to Nordnar in Europe. I'm really curious what the ping difference is going to be. With that being said, though, shot number 2. Let's talk patch notes. Let's get in patch notes here before anything bad happens. Oh my goodness. So we had a couple big patches, obviously, especially in the last week or so. The first one I'm talking about is the Karazhan 40 patch. That was April 3rd. Now, unfortunately, I cannot transmit visual images through the radio. That's not possible. But what I can do is say, hey, go look at the forum post. April 3rd, build 7207, Tower of Karazhan. Go look at it. Just go look at it. Please, just go look at it. There is not just some stellar screenshots. You can see all the new 3.5 sets, but you can see all of the amazing art that the team has put together for not just the world, the environment, but some of the raid bosses in Karazhan, and it's gorgeous what they did. I'm looking at some of them right now. Oh, the undead hunter with the spider, that I love that. There's great art there, and seeing a Tarn shaman there with Hand of Rag, that's great too. That's really great art. That's really great art. That might be a new desktop background at some point here. In addition, it does link to an April 1st. This post itself does link to an April 1st class balance update. A lot of it is minutia. A lot of it is just little tiny bits. So I'm not going to go through this, but again, I would encourage you to read through it. Depending upon what your class is, you may be more or less affected. So April 1st update, it's not a joke. It was an actual class balance. So please look at it. There were some major updates outside of Karazhan 40 with the April 3rd patch. And I'm going to go through those right now. First off, the game will now launch in windowed widescreen mode with improved default video settings on first launch. Thank goodness. Anytime you do a fresh reinstall of WoW, no matter what kind of client you're looking at, every single time you have the 640 by 480 and music blaring in your ear because it's at max volume the entire time. Glad they fixed that. There has been an additional mission added to the Level 1 Lunatic Challenge. Complete 100 quests to earn a special title. You can now fish while seated. So if anyone really wants to chill out on the docks with Vrograg, certainly now you can do so. The Eastern Kingdom and Kalimdor loading screens were updated to add goblins and high elves. Also, the Eastern Kingdoms one also had gnomes added at some point. I don't know if that was this patch or a previous patch, but gnomes are on there as well now. The dungeon load screens also received an update. You can now transmogrify tabards and shirts. Turtle, they added a couple files in the Turtle WoW folder, so now Turtle WoW will specifically show up on your Discord activity list if that is your vibe. You can turn that option off, though, in your launcher settings. It is defaulted to on, but you can go in and turn it off. So if you don't want that, it's easy to do. It's super easy to do. It's just in the settings button in the top right, the little gear icon. You can turn it off. There was a few issues with bonuses not showing up on transmogrified items. There were a few other important ones here. Let me skip down. They changed the main menus, the menus for both in-game and I believe the login screen. There is also a completely different way to do leveling challenges. Those are moved to the character creation screen now. You will no longer be able to get a glyph at the Glyph Master mid-leveling. However, you can still toggle war mode at your local Battle Master. This I like this change a lot. I don't love the whole glyph system, to be honest. I have never liked the whole glyph system. I think this is better. I think this is better. There are a huge number of other changes in this patch. Like, there's a lot of them. A lot of changes went into the April 3rd patch. I'm flicking my scroll wheel, and it just keeps going. Massive amount of quest changes, massive item changes, a lot of tweaks, a lot of fixes. So I will once again encourage you, please go to the forums, check them out. April 3rd is where all of this is at. So make sure you read through it all. This could affect you depending upon the class and specs that you play. So I always encourage people to look at the forums, doubly so this time. Next, we have the April 9th patch. There isn't a ton in here. Well, I shouldn't say that. There is a lot in here, but a lot of it is bug fixes and adjustments to Karazhan 40, Tower of Karazhan. I am not going to read them off here. They are hidden under a pull down at the bottom of this post, bottom of the April 9th post. If you are already in Karazhan 40 or you're planning to go into it, I would strongly encourage you to read this post. However, to not spoil it for anyone, I'm not going to read any of these changes out here right now. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. And if you haven't gotten into Karazhan 40 yet and you still want to really get in there and have a fresh experience, please do so. If you want to read these patch notes, read them. But if you want to stay like, okay, we're going to figure this out on our own, I also encourage that. So I'm not going to read those patch notes off, but April 9th, there was quite a few bug fixes and minor adjustments to Tower of Karazhan and some of its bosses. So keep that in mind. The last thing I'm going to talk about patch notes wise, I know you guys probably get bored of me reading these off, but I think it's important. We had the traditional March 32nd, April 1st patch notes from Akalix and his team. Some of these are straight up bangers. Some of these are delightful. Some of these are a little cheesy, but some of these I'm sitting here thinking like, wait, but I want that. Wait, that's a good. Hold on a second. Well, that's a good idea. I like it. For example, the Deep Run Tram now features ads for imaginary games like Warcraft 4. Please make that not an imaginary game. Please. Turtle Team? I know y'all haven't been looking at RTS games at all, because we got a lot that we're working on, but if I, slid you a $5 or maybe a $10 even, would you make Warcraft 4? Because I don't trust Blizzard to do that. Do a little Warcraft 4, please? Please. I am sitting here. I will no longer be asking at a certain point. Also, the theme music from the movie Jaws now plays when a rogue is invisible near a player of the enemy faction. I would pay money for this. I don't know if the Turtle client can handle musical cosmetics, custom player character music in some fashion, but yes. But yes. Yes, do this. Again, if I could have custom theme music in some way as a cosmetic for my characters, and this was an option, shut up and take my money. This is such a good idea. It's such a good idea. And then the last one. So obviously with these others, I'm joking to a certain extent. This I actually think is a good idea. Warriors who cast shout spells too many times in quick succession gives players the sore throat debuff, making them unable to cast them any further. I actually think this is a good idea. This is a good idea. I say this as someone who plays a warrior. We have the ability to spam our shouts as much as we goddamn want. And sometimes we ought not. So I think even if it's just a tiny little 1 second, oh no, you can't shout again for a second or two. I really like this. I really like that. So like I said, they came up with some bangers for the April Fool stuff. Good on Akalix and his team. I loved the April Fool's Day patch notes. Also, the text at the top, and I believe I mentioned I think I mentioned this to Akalix when he was testing out some fonts with us for this post. I think I said to him, that font, that text really screams graphic design is your passion. Good on you, buddy. Good on you, Akalix. You did it. I think you did it. Oh, and lastly, before I completely move on from patch notes and updates, and this was kind of overshadowed by the whole Karazhan 40 stuff going on, Dragon Maw Retreat had a trailer release just a couple days ago. Scars of the Second War Bleed Again. New dungeon. Gives me very Lower Blackrock Spire vibes with, lots of dwarven kind of architecture, terraces, lots of orcs around with pets. Very different level range though. Mid 20s to mid 30s. I think this is exciting. This is really good. I cannot wait to see what's in store for us for Dragon Maw Retreat. That's over on the Turtle WoW YouTube page. It's also in the trailer. If you want it, not the trailers. It's in the launcher. If you want to see it there. And it's really good. Again, it's very, very good. So go ahead and check out that trailer in the launcher. There we go. At your earliest convenience. Now, we need to go ahead and take a break. We're almost at 20 minutes in. So we need to take a short time out. What we're going to do is we're going to step away. Music for today, we're going back to the 80s. We're having some nice 80s vibes today. For our first break, it's going to be Africa by Toto. Take Me Home Tonight from Eddie Money. And the classic Hip to Be a Square from Huey Lewis and the News. When we come back, we're going to talk more Karazhan 40, Tower of Karazhan, progress, and the importance of struggling. Yeah, that's the angle I'm taking with this. The importance of struggling. More Living in the Past with myself, Dan, when we come back after this. The musical tracks for this episode have been removed due to YouTube copyright. To listen to the full episodes with music, tune in to Everlook Broadcasting every Friday with the in-game radio widget. Welcome back to Living in the Past with myself, Dan. It's good to have you here today on this wonderful Friday, April 11th, 2025. We're going to continue our discussion on Karazhan 40 now. I did preface this in my last segment by saying the importance of struggling. And all of you raiders are going to sit there like, that douchebag. How dare he bring this up? I've been there. My priest at least is Nax geared. My warrior not so much. He's only AQ40 decked out. But I understand it. I understand there's a mentality struggle that goes on there, and there is a physical struggle that goes on when it comes to raiding at this kind of level. So I get it. I do get it. I will say it was a ton of fun getting to join Vrograg during that first full day that Tower of Karazhan was out, where we were watching a lot of different groups going out there and really just smashing their faces on those first two bosses. That's really all that we got to see. Well, at least while I was there with him. But seeing people really have to sit and chew on learning these mechanics, because again, they're not documented anywhere. That was really nice. It was really great seeing how each group was starting to interpret, how do we grind on this? How do we actually get this done? It was really nice. And shout out to not just those guilds that we watched that day, but to everyone who is going out there and learning these bosses and figuring out these mechanics without any form of information or documentation. By the way, that was over on Vrograg's Twitch and YouTube page. He was on both at the same time. And thank you to him for letting me join. Akalix also hopped in there for a little bit after teasing us. Teasing, I say. Akalix is the perfect gaslighter. I say that with all respect and appreciation. He is the perfect gaslighter. So I did want to actually take a moment to talk about what this, I would almost say, test. This test that is Tower of Karazhan means to the guilds here on Turtle, because we haven't had an experience like this in a long time. Like if you want to really hardline the time frame, we're talking 18 years since Naxxramas was first launched. Is it 18? Yeah, it's 18. And we only had originally a few months to get that learnt and dealt with. And certainly that was a time. I don't know how many people here actually did Naxxramas when it first came out. I did not. I got as far as AQ40 back in the day, and that was it. I did do Naxxramas in the 2019 Classic, but that's not when it initially happened. And people already knew the strats at that point pretty well. So the importance of this test, This moment of this is what we're doing, people, and this is how we're doing it. This is one of the biggest legitimate real tests of how strong are you as a guild and as a raid group. I shouldn't say guild because there are a few like non-guild raid groups going in there. I know Puglords has their I think most of their mains, most of their regulars in there. But you get the idea though. This is the first time we are truly putting a raid group's ability to think and respond on their feet. And saying, here is your challenge, accept it. That's exciting. That's so exciting. And the fact that we're seeing guilds chew through a lot of these bosses, especially the early ones, and actually get them down. Like my guess is we wouldn't see a completed Kara 40 for 3 weeks. I thought it would be a 3-week time frame when we see our first Kara 40 completion. I was wrong, and that's okay. But still, I think the time frame for a lot of groups that started right off the bat, I think that's going to be pretty accurate, 3 to 4 weeks for completion. And that says a lot, especially when, again, you take into account the mental strain that comes with having to smash your head over and over again on these bosses, on these mechanics. You get one down. So let's say you get the first boss down, the Worgen Demon, or the Demon Worgen? Is it a Worgen Demon or a Demon Worgen? I don't know. You spend the 4 to 5 hours because that was kind of the earliest time frames that we saw that first boss being dropped. You spend the 4 to 5 hours just smashing your face on these mechanics. Then you take the time to open the Book of Doom right afterwards, which does nothing harmful to you at all. The Book of Doom, which says, hey, don't open this, I assure you it does nothing bad. Everything is totally okay when you open it. I promise. And then you get to the second boss, which has entirely different mechanics. And I saw a lot of people really pushing the arcane resistance on that boss. I don't even know if that's the correct answer for him. But the fact is that those first 4 to 5 hours, after that, you've learned all these mechanics and gotten all the timing down, and it's draining. It's very, very draining just to go to the next boss. There's 8 bosses in Kara 40. That's a lot of work. And to go from, okay, we learned the first boss. All right. I think a couple groups took like a half-hour break after dropping the first boss, and then like, okay, no, we're back in it. And we're going to number 2. And having to spend more time smashing your head on the second boss, learning his mechanics, trying to figure out what is this buff that he has. Which, at some point, Brogreg and I were actually concerned we were, like, spoiling mechanics, because you can't actually see the second boss's buff, his damage resistance buff, without, what was it, Super WoW? Or Detect Magic. And for a little bit there, we were worried we were seeing something that we ought not be seeing, because Vrograg has GM vision on the account he was using to stream from. But it turns out, no, it is visible with Detect Magic. So, okay, all right. We're not actually worried. People can still see it. And, of course, you should be detecting magic on any new boss you might be encountering. That's just a good rule of thumb right there. With that being said, though, shot number 3. I'm gonna keep track of the amount of times I say that, just so I understand how drunk people are getting whenever they play this stupid drinking game on my shows. I have heard rumor that whenever I say that, people take a shot or people take a drink. I don't condone that. I don't condone that. But it is true that I say that way too much. So hold me accountable. Why not? Kara 40 progress has been incredible to see. And I hope not only the community is learning a lot of good habits from this, because there's going to be more new raids. They've already said it's on the schedule? The timeline. There it is. It's on the timeline that they posted up the other year. So building those good habits of, all right, this is proper protocol for when we're learning new bosses. Those skills are going to be useful in the future. Hold on to them. What do you bring? What do you do? How do you approach? How do you poke properly at a new boss and get its mechanics down? And also, I'm really curious how the devs are watching this progress in Karazhan 40 and going, okay, all right, how do we turn up the difficulty further? How do we make this a better experience for raiders? How do we have fun together? Because that's kind of the important thing, is this is all for the joy of the game. This is all for all of us having a good time. And I'm really with seeing how Tower of Karazhan has gone down. It took a while. I will be the first to admit it took a while. Took a bit longer than I expected. But it's here. And now that we have it, I really feel like it was worth the wait. Now, for the South American servers, it's going to be a year and a half wait more. It's going to be a little bit. I forget exactly when Leto said Phase 6 was coming. Or I shouldn't say Phase 6, but the Tower of Karazhan patch was coming on the South American servers, but it's going to be a hot minute. It's going to be a while. So they have time to build up. But this is such a great prelude to what comes next. What is the next full raid tier? What do we get when we get the tier 4 sets? What kind of truly excessive mechanics are we going to have to deal with? Because, and I think Alex especially was pretty vocal about this is how the raid difficulty was going to set up. It's all been more mechanics and adding more mechanics. And sure, boss's health was increased because our damage increased. But at a certain point, you can't just say, okay, numbers go up. That's not feasible. So what we saw with Karazhan 40, what we're seeing with Karazhan 40, I should say, is mechanics go up. And mechanics are added. And mechanics are much more time sensitive. Especially with the first boss in there, where we are seeing, I don't want to say anything specific, but very specific timing mechanics going on, which I think is wonderful. So this, in my opinion, is a wonderful prelude to what the team can do and what we can expect when it comes to custom raid content in the future. Now, of course, that's not everything the team is working on. They have the lower dungeons that are adding. We've seen the first of that. There's going to be more leveling dungeons. There's going to be more leveling content also coming. So don't feel like it's just going to be raids here on out. the Turtle team is dedicated to making sure we continue to have more content across the board, which is really, really vibrant and wonderful to see. Now, shot number 4, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take our second break of the day, and then we're going to be talking about the radio, what you're listening to right now. I'm going to thank some people. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the DJ program and a few other things and stuff, including what you all did. Yes, you listening to the radio right now. I'm talking to you. No, don't lean in that close. Don't lean in that close. That's a little awkward. Right there's fine. I'm going to talk about what you all did to the radio and give you a thank you as well. This music break will be the Leto Shuffle, my old theme song from Boss Gags. Don't Stop Believing from Journey, because if you're rating Karazhan 40, I want you to not stop believing. And lastly, I Come From a Land Down Under by Men at Work. When we return, our final segment, announcements, and closing up shop here on Living in the Past. The musical tracks for this episode have been removed due to YouTube copyright. To listen to the full episodes with music, tune in to Everlook Broadcasting every Friday with the in-game radio widget. This is Living in the Past with our final segment of the broadcast, April 11th, 2025. I'm Dan. It's good to have you back here. A shorter segment here, but I did want to take some time to talk about Everlook Broadcasting as a whole and where we're at right now. It's no surprise. I've spoken to the staff a few times on this, but I'm going to speak to you all now about it, because I could not be prouder of the entire Everlook Broadcasting team. Everyone from our voice actors to engineers to our new live DJs to everyone who works in the background for Everlook Broadcasting. I cannot say enough good things. 2025, in the last 3 months or so, has been a hallmark time period for us. This has been an incredible start to the year. Just knock out stellar new content. Their live DJ the live DJ program that we've started this year, incredible. I love it. Not only do we have a semi-regular schedule now that's starting to form with them, but the DJs are getting some extra time in when they can and providing so much great live entertainment for you all. We've had a new show launch this year with Pardon the Pummel with Vrograg and Nixium. Episode 2, by the way, we're recording here next week, which I'm really excited for. I've given them some prompts to start ideating on, and I'm really excited for what they come up with, and that'll be aired 2 weeks from today. And that'll be, if I pull my calendar up here, that'll be on the 25th. That's the 25th that'll be aired. We've also had so many new segments. We've had a lot of fun stuff happen, and what we have coming up here, we have another parody in the works, another musical parody that we've had some recordings already done for. We have a huge new series that designer Dave is getting to writing right now that hopefully will start airing in May. And then we have a huge radio revamp that's mostly going to be in the background, that only if you listen to Everlook Broadcasting a lot, you're going to notice. But it's a very needed update in our systems and how we organize and how we provide content, and allow us to radioify, like AM radioify a little bit more and add just a little bit extra flavor. And also just massively sorely needed update for our back-end systems. There's so much happening. There's so much happening. Again, I can't say enough good things. I would love to know what people think especially about the new live DJs. I want to know what you think. So go over to the forums. Go over to the Everlook forums. Let me know what your thoughts are. Put up a new post, reply to one of theirs. Whatever you'd like to do, let us know what you think. Also, if you, yes, you listening, want to be a part of our live DJ program, I am looking for additional DJs right now for different time slots. All you need to do, and this was really it, all you need to do to join the live DJ program, DM me on Discord. I'm Dan. I'm right up there on the Everlook broadcast listing on the main Turtle WoW Discord. DM me, say, hey, I want to be a live DJ. And then I'm going to give you a couple to-do tasks, couple hoops to jump through, and then we're going to be off to the races. It really is that easy. So if you're interested at all, please just DM me. I don't mind. Please. We're also getting new custom music. We've gotten a lot of new music on the radio over the last few months, and a lot more is going to be going in. Late April, early May, I'm going to be doing another big stretch of, okay, I'm putting in a lot more music. If time allows. I'm hoping time allows. We'll see if time allows, but I'd like to. Next, we do have another Under the Shell coming up, hopefully in May. I believe it's going to be a May thing. I don't think it's going to be an April thing. It's probably going to be a May thing, but it's going to be a very big retrospective on the release of Karazhan 40, of the Tower of Karazhan, and what the devs learned from it, and how they're going to be using that information to approach future raid design. That's not the end-all be-all of the episode. We haven't recorded it yet, obviously, but I want that to be the very sincere, direct focus of it. Because this is, again, as I mentioned in the previous segment, Tower of Karazhan is a very rare opportunity to get a very large amount of very useful data on making new content. So I'm going to be really big on making sure we use that opportunity to its biggest advantage possible. So that's what's going to be coming up with that. Next, I have to thank you all. I have to thank you all. Not only have we been stepping up our quality, you all have been stepping up your interest. And especially with the launch of the South American server, shout out to you all. We're pretty sure half of the South American server is always listening to Everlook. And it's really wonderful because you all overloaded our relays. Yeah, yes. People actually have been struggling to connect to Everlook Radio because too many of you are connected to Everlook Radio. So we've actually had to use our secondary tower, our secondary relay a lot lately. And we're looking into ways where we, reinforce our tech on that background. But the fact of the matter is we've had thousands of new listeners here over the last few months. And with the launch of the South American server, it finally came to a point where we actually ran out of ways that you could listen. Which was... I make a joke about it because I think that's hilarious. But also, that is so incredible to see that you all continue to love what we do. That's massive. So, for my last little bit of Everlook news, I'll say, thank you so much to all of you. Thank you so much to all of you who listen, who appreciate, who talk in world chat, who get, their opinions out there, for good or for bad. For all of you who participate with us in Everlook Broadcasting and what we do, thank you. You all are goddamned incredible. I don't try not to swear too much on this, but there you go. That was my one swear word for the show. A side note too, the next Living in the Past will be at the end of May. So in May, look forward to at least a Part in the Pummel, Under the Shell, and a Living in the Past. at the end of the month, at the end of May, Living in the Past will be the guild shoutouts. So you know what I'm going to say here. Make sure when we're coming up to the end of May, you have updated your guild advertisements on the main Turtle WoW Discord. That goes for all servers now. That goes for Nordinar. That goes for Telebeam. And now that goes for South Seas, if I can translate them properly. We'll see. I barely speak English, so Spanish and Portuguese might be a little bit of a tough sell, but I'm going to try. I am going to try. If I fail miserably, I apologize. I'm going to do my best. We'll see. But make sure your guild advertisements are updated on the Turtle WoW Discord. Please make sure you do that, because at the end of May, I'm going to be going through those, and whatever's there is there, and that's what I'm using for guild shoutouts. And that's par for the course. That's what I've always done, and hopefully you all enjoy it. Now, we're going to go ahead and close up shop. Thank you for taking the time to join me today. Our nostalgia continues, even though today's broadcast is at an end. And I hope you enjoyed the show here today. A huge thank you to the Turtle developers, moderators, staff, and volunteers. Without the entire team's hard work and dedication, we wouldn't have this station or server group. An additional thank you to the audio engineers and creators here for the use of their soundtracks they've created, which we use for our segment transitions and intro audio. If you'd like to find out more about what I do, I would promote my YouTube or Twitch, but I haven't used them in months. So you know what? I'm going to hold off. Thank you, everyone. And until next month, let's keep living in the past.